Today on the Brad Link, we've got 5 tips to help you clean up at the end of your wedding night. Today on the Brad Link, we're giving you 5 easy tips to make cleanup a breeze on your wedding night. First, let's start with tip number 1, and that's know your venue rules and expectations. The last thing you want to hear at the end of the night, after you think that cleanup is over, is that you're not yet done and there's more work to do. Or even worse, you get fined or lose part of your security deposit because you didn't clean up the way that the venue asked you to in your contract. It's going to be really important that you not only understand what the venue requires in your contract, but also go over with the venue manager or the event staff what's required in the contract, and also at the end of the night if it's been done adequately. That will ensure that you get your full security deposit back and you meet all of their expectations and you don't do anything that's restricted. At this time, if you decide that you don't want to do all that cleanup, is the perfect time to ask for their advice on a wedding professional that can help you do cleanup at the end of the night. Tip number 2, do not underestimate cleanup. We have so many people that either don't allocate enough time for cleanup or they don't ask for enough help at the end of the night because they think it's going to be easy. There's no wedding I've ever seen where cleanup is throwing a few boxes and gifts in a car and driving off into the sunset. We usually allocate as wedding planners a complete full hour for cleanup, and there's at least 2 of us on site cleaning up, and we usually have help. So make sure that you have plenty of helping hands during the cleanup process. The next tip that we have is to coordinate the transportation of your stuff. A lot of people think that just getting a crew together for cleanup is enough. But a lot of people carpool together at weddings. There's a lot of people that may or may not have been drinking at weddings. And it can be like herding cattle to get everybody to clean up effectively. And then at the end of the night, they don't know where everything's going to go or they don't have enough room. A lot of times I see that people are really surprised at how much stuff is left over at the end of the night. You can expect to have leftover favors if you're giving those away. You're going to have leftover cake if you have a wedding cake. You'll probably have leftover food from the caterer, as well as all of the decor that you brought in the beginning of setup and all the leftover flowers. Make sure that you have enough space in your vehicles for all of this, as well as anything else that you happen to bring during the wedding day and everybody's bodies. What we tend to see is a lot of people carpool together. Some people leave and there's only 1 vehicle, maybe 2 at the end of the night to clean up after the wedding, and that's not always enough if you have a lot of decor. So make sure that you have plenty of space to pack your items at the end of the night. And bonus points if you know who's taking what in which car, so at least you know where your stuff is. Tip number 4, be really smart about delegating tasks. One thing you want to make sure that you don't do is give one person way too much to do at the end of the night. For some reason, I feel like mothers of the groom and mothers of the bride tend to volunteer themselves to be in this position. The last thing you want is for one of the moms to be rolling up their sleeves and working at the end of the night until 1 o'clock in the morning. Make sure that you delegate tasks to people that are not only going to be responsible, but sober enough to complete the task, as well as that they remember everything that they're supposed to do and they do it correctly. That leads us to tip number 5. Confirm everything with everyone. As a wedding planner, you would be surprised at how many weddings I've seen where there was a long list of people that were supposed to help at the end of the night and they all totally bail. Even though they didn't mean to bail, actually what happened was that the couple asked them in passing if they would help do cleanup at the end of the night several months before the event, and they agreed. Then when the night rolls around, they had a great time, they drank several drinks, they get in their Uber and ride off into the sunset and completely forget the fact that they were supposed to help clean up or just transport some items at the end of the night. And then we're stuck with lots of things that we don't know what to do with or where it should go. Confirming everything with everyone right before the event, so not only do they know what their tasks and responsibilities are, but they also remember that they volunteered to do it, is going to be really important. So that's why we've given you our cleanup fact sheet to download. It'll cover lots of items that we see left over at the end of the event, and you can also write down who is responsible for taking that responsibility on at the end of the night. It'll make cleanup a breeze, and also it'll let you feel at ease because you'll know that you have cleanup really organized. So when you do your grand exit and ride off in your getaway car, you know that your friends and family or your wedding professional, like your wedding planner, have everything under control, and all of the stuff that you brought in is going to make its way back to you. If you're interested in our cleanup fact sheet, you can download it at thebridalink.com and follow the links below.